The first thing I want to talk about, and I want to tie it into this too, is Saturday is the LVA training. They're only going to be virtual. So no reason everybody can't be on. There is no opportunity meeting. So if you have new people, you let them know this is how we do the business. Okay, they do not have to have seen an opportunity meeting to join us. So if you want to have somebody over, you want to have them check out the business, Carrie Dickey is going to be the spokesperson. It's going to be 2 hours only. It's not going to be 4 hours. So again, don't let that keep you or hesitate you from inviting new guests. You know, I can tell you over the years, even with our first company, and many of you know, we do this training on the 10 things not to do in the business, which, you know, could you think of a worse topic for new people to be looking at? 10 things not to do instead of what to
landmines.
do, move forward and stuff. But this was a training on 10 things not to do. And I can tell you, we had many guests come in on that training. And as long as you prep them, hold on, we got people in the waiting room. As long as you prep them on what they're going to see, elevate the speaker, you know, let them know this is 2 hours. This isn't an opportunity meeting, but this is training on how to do the business. You know, you can think about how many times people have sat in an opportunity meeting, got super, super excited about it. And Bobby and I did this. We met with somebody Sunday afternoon. You know, we met with this gentleman, but we didn't only just talk about this was the opportunity. This is what the opportunity did for us. This is what the opportunity could do for you. We told them this is what we need to do together to make you successful. So when you think about training for 2 hours, this is the how-to. Okay, I mean, you can really tell a person about the opportunity, you know, change your life. It'll give you time freedom. It'll give you financial freedom. It'll give you options you never thought of. This is the how-to. This is how you're going to build this business. So again, you know, it's so important that we get people into these trainings. And if I have to think of one area, myself included, very much so, we all need to do a better job of getting our downline to see the value in getting on training. You know, the company, and a lot of this, we all know, it's almost like we have to call these people up and say, hey, you really need to be on this. This is worth your time. You got to check this out. You know, I know a Saturday morning is inconvenient, middle of the day. I think for us, it's probably starts at 11 to 1. I mean, you know, it's taking up a lot of a Saturday, but it's so important to our business because if we don't get trained, we don't have the how-to. We never learn out how to do the business. So, you know, again, we need to teach our people. And this is one of the things Bobby and I have been talking about. You know, it's like when you bring people into the room, and for some of you, this is just going to be like an old memory, but we need to bring it back forward. You know, when you bring a guest into the room, very much like if you were bringing them, you know, anywhere else. If I was bringing somebody to somebody's house, I'd give them kind of a lay of the land. If it was a house party, if it was church, I'd say, you know, this is kind of what goes on with church. So, you know, what's going on. Same with our business. You know, we're gonna, you know, come on over to my living room. I'm going to show you some of the products, but you're going to get to listen from somebody, you know, who's a master distributor in this company, made millions and millions herself, but is so lovable. You're absolutely going to adore her, but she's going to teach you how we're going to build this business together. And this is going to be so worth your time. So make sure you come over, you know, you're about 15 minutes early on Saturday. If it's, you know, 10:45, whatever your time is, we're going to sit there. It's only 2 hours. We'll go to lunch afterwards is generally what I do when we have people over here. So we'll go to lunch afterwards. We'll get to talk some more, but this training is going to tell you how you're going to build this business. So important on how you do this. But if it's a live meeting, come, you know, sit in front of the room, you know, you're going to love this. This is the speaker. This is what's going on. We need to give our people a little bit more direction and let them know what's going on. Because if they're not getting trained, it becomes tunnel vision. This is not a business you can do by yourself. I don't care how good you are. The best person in the world cannot do this business by itself. Everybody needs to get other people. That's why Zooms are so important. You know, we'd all love to be in the same room, but at least we're seeing some faces and some interactions and stuff. You know, when we do those launches, and I'll give a little direction here, which would be important. Great for you to be interactive with the weather, maybe where you live, some little tidbit about the holiday. Don't tell me anything about the business, that your customer just resigned or your customer puked all over or anything else you can imagine. That's not the place for it. But we should be lively, friendly, just as if we were in a real meeting, you know, like, oh my goodness, it's raining here today, but I had such a blast. I went out with my grandchild anyway, or whatever went on in your life. You can tell the good stuff, the funny stuff, but nothing about, don't ask a question about the business beforehand. So, you know, again, next time, we don't have a launch till the 29th, Bobby?
29th, correct.
29th, yeah. So again, before that, I don't care if you unmute until we start and then mute yourselves properly. And that interaction, it gives the new person that's sitting there to know that we are human, that we're not just stiff, we're not just faces and stuff, that we actually are people. Like Dr. Goodman, your testimony today in the chat, for those of you that didn't get it, amazing, amazing. You know, even something like that, very positive to start the meeting so that it get people like tuned in and excited about that meeting.
Great job, Ira. That was perfect.
Yeah, great,
Perfect.
great testimony. So, you know, that's kind of that. So Saturday, 2 hours, you know, need to get everybody in, have them over to your living room. If you've got people locally, that would certainly be it. But like I said, it's gonna be 2 hours of training, the 4 pillars, Carrie Dickey. And she's just phenomenal. She's fun, she's light, she's, you know, gives direction well. So it should be, you know, a really, really good training there. So, and then you just heard, we said the 29th is going to be our next launch there. So, anything you want to say, Bobby, before we go forward?
Oh, just, you know, just to reiterate, you know, for the next few months, there are no live LVAs in person. They're all, you know, they're all virtual, and it's up to you and I to not watch it alone. Okay. It's up to us to go somewhere with people to watch it, or bring people over to watch it, but make it fun and social. And, you know, 2 things that April was talking about. We met with this guy yesterday, and April's been working on this. He's a young man. He was in the military. He's out of the military now. But the best personality that April and I have ever met in the last 3 or 4 years anyway, by far the best personality, the magnetism and the likability factor that this young man has is just absolutely off the charts. And we met him at Starbucks yesterday, and he was on the Zoom last week, and April met with him one-on-one, and he had watched the videos before the one-on-one. So this was, you know, other than April texting back and forth with him, this was like the 4th touch, okay, with him since April mentioned there was a business, okay? And what we did with this young man is, you know, he's going to get started. He needs another week or 2, and then he'll get started. He had some bills come up due to the 2 hurricanes in the last month. But long story short, April asked him, have you given some thought to who you want to talk to? And he explained 2 or 3 people that he was excited about. And then the conversation turned to the we word. Okay, we are going to do this with you. When he was heading over to his brother's house after he had coffee at Starbucks with us, and his brother was making a barbecue, and he admires his brother. His brother has been very, very successful with in a mechanic field. And, you know, he was so excited from the conversation that we had with him about we were going to be there to help. We would be there to answer questions. We would be your credibility, because he's not even 30 years old, okay? We would be your credibility in the beginning while we get you earning money. We told him that he was going to have his money back in 30 days. We told April, said, I want you to look at your credit card statement. And as soon as the cycle starts a new cycle, you put the order on your card, and we're going to make sure you make enough money before the bill comes in. And everything was we, and we shared with him why we liked him. And he couldn't sit still anymore. We had to tell him 10 times as we were leaving, because he kept hugging us and stuff, Do not throw up on your brother on this barbecue now. Please do not throw up on him when you get there, okay? Because he's so excited. And we said, no, if your brother starts, getting real inquisitive, just say, I have two partners. They don't live far from here. They'd be happy to have coffee with you and explain what's going on. Do not go alone. And that's the one thing I want you to understand. It has nothing to do with your personal ability to do business. This business was not designed for people to do it solo. And here's why, okay? And this will make total sense to you. You got Dr. Goodman on here, you got Dr. Castori on here, you got other business people, you have school teachers, you have all kinds of different people on here right now. You have dentists on here, you have prior legal experts on here. Here's the deal. And put yourself in their shoes. What if, okay, and we got somebody like the best person that I've ever met in the last 10 years at closing people is Kenneth. All right, but Kenneth's in the health club business. And I don't know if you've ever gone in to a health club to get a membership. You ain't leaving without one. Okay, they'll nail you to the wall. Okay, he's just a master at closing business, and we've been working on him to say, Kenneth, they can't do what you did. They can't do what you did to get them in. They have to see there's a team helping them. It has nothing to do if you're good or bad. There's a team that's there to help. And that's why we have to understand, that you got to do that. Now, I'll tell you who was a master at doing it. Was Moshe, Dr. Deckel, and he still does it. And I'm ready when I see his name pop up on the phone, because I know he just got done talking to somebody and he's going to introduce them to me so that they see that there's a team involved and they don't have this excuse. Well, he's good because he's a doctor. Well, then they meet me and they say, well, obviously he's not the sharpest knife in the drawer. And if he can do it, anybody can do it. Okay. Well, there's a reason we do it that way. So you gotta get more involved with including other people. Now, let me give you the flip side of that. If you haven't done your job, then don't do that, because we're not miracle workers. Okay. If you got an absolute deadbeat, or you've already thrown up all over them, or you just they haven't watched a video yet, they haven't checked out the website, they haven't started asking inquisitive questions. Okay, we can't magically make them join the business. When you get somebody else on the phone, it don't have to be me or April, it could be anybody. All that person's going to do is validate you and validate that everything you told them is true, and how fortunate they would be to have you as their business partner moving forward. That way we can brag on you and you don't have to be, bragging on yourself. Okay. I'm sure. Okay. And I've known Dr. Goodman a long time. Okay. And we're diehard New York sports fans. That's where the relationship began. Okay. Even though we met through business, we're diehard sports fans. And, a doctor is a perfect example. I don't care if it's Noel, who's a dentist, or Dr. Castor. You need to get that third person involved so that that new person doesn't think they got to be as smart as the person who talked to them. Because it's real easy for a person to say, oh, well, look, she's a dentist. Oh, look, she had a law profession for 40 years. Oh, look, he's a doctor. She's a doctor. It's real easy, but when you share with them why you like them, when you share with them why you think they'd be good, when you build up their confidence and self-esteem, and you use the we word, and you let them know you'll be there every step of the way, that that they need you to be there, and there's a team behind you, now they feel good. You should have saw how this guy left the Starbucks yesterday. His chest couldn't have been any bigger. I mean, it was, he was just so excited that he had this team, and he says, I know God put me in front of you too. And I said, yeah, I'll agree with you on that. And that'd be a conversation for another day. Okay. But you're right. Okay. That's absolutely true. But you got to start working that way. And then these events like April was talking about, if I'm going to watch an event, All right. And it's not that you can't always learn from every event. You certainly can, you should, and you will. You'll always come away with a couple of pearls from every event that you watch. But if I'm going to watch it, I'm going to watch it with guests. I'm going to have people watching it with me. Why? So I can do new business. You know, let me tell you about Chicago. And Dr. Goodman was there. Dr. Castori was there. I know Zuma was there. That's not even, it was a week ago Saturday that they were there. The weather sucked. Traffic sucked. It was wet. It was snowing. There was a million excuses on why people shouldn't come, couldn't come. The freaking computer didn't work. The presentation didn't work. The TV didn't work. Nothing worked other than the 3 people hosting it worked. Do you know 16 people enrolled in the first 5 days after that event? All the people on the screen enrolled people, and the people that had never been to a meeting went out and started enrolling people. 16 people. Here's why. They got involved because one person either told them about the product or one person told them about the business. And this is not a negative statement, but they had tunnel vision. They didn't know how big it was, and they didn't know exactly how to go about doing it. So you bring somebody like April in, and Hannah comes in from the company, and all of a sudden it's not tunnel vision no more. It's a bigger vision. They learn a little bit more about how to go home and do it. And that's what you get. Okay. They're talking, I mean, they're talking about it at corporate, 16 enrollments from an attract. Is that what an activate meeting? What are they calling it? Activate meeting, right?
Activate, yeah.
Yeah. They're all talking about, you know, we were in Tampa about, I don't know, a month and a half ago, and there were 100 people there. And I don't think 5 of them were guests, and they didn't get 16 people enrolled with 100 people there. So what was special about it? New blood. Everybody there, other than the 3 or 4 hosting it, were new. They either had just joined the business, had just bought the product, or maybe been on it a few weeks, whatever it is. But it was everybody's first meeting. We got to get in the habit of doing that. COVID's over, folks. Okay, we got to get back into doing business. And I'm telling you, people are so starved to be around other people. They want to hug again. You know, they want handshakes. They want to pat each other on the back. You know, God built us and wired us to be around each other, in person with each other. And that's what people want now. That's why March is so important to all of you. Okay, if I could only tell you why, okay, you just cannot miss March in New Orleans. I don't care, Dr. Goodman, if you got to clear your office for 2 days. I don't care what anybody's got to do. You need to be in New Orleans in March. Okay, you'll never live it down if you're not. I'm telling you, you will never live it down if you're not there. It'd be like somebody offering you tickets to the Super Bowl, and the Super Bowl was in your home city, and your team was playing, and you didn't go because you couldn't find a babysitter, and your team won in overtime. How would you live with that one? Okay, when you had tickets in your city and your team was playing and you didn't go. That's how big New Orleans is going to be. So start shopping your tickets now. Start looking at Airbnbs now. You know, reserve the hotel, and if you have to cancel it because you got an Airbnb, do that. We're doing that. We're all looking. We've told some people to start looking. Zuma, you need to fill up an Airbnb with your team. Jaya, you need to fill one up with your team. April and I need to fill one up with our team. Everybody should get one for their team and fill it up. Okay, and then we'll all get together when we're there, and we'll have some fun outside of what the company is going to do. So, April?
Yeah, so, you know, a lot of good advice. And, you know, I myself brought Bobby into a situation because people need to see other people. Can't just be about me. I can't be the only one doing the business. We need more people. So the other thing that I hear, you know, sometimes when I'm doing 3 ways and talking with other people too, is, you know, the first thing is you don't know what that person wants, and you really owe it to that person to find out if it's an opportunity or a product. More opportunity is going to come up. People need to make money. This economy is starting to get bad. You know, there was a thing on TikTok today where really cool, this 20-year-old from Walmart picked up that this woman, he didn't say how old she was. She was an older woman, but she worked at Walmart, you know, as they do. And he said it nicely, well past retirement age. She was tired. She was bone tired, should not have been working, but she still had a mortgage that needed to be paid off. He did a TikTok and they raised like 125,000 for her or whatever. She didn't need all that money, but she needed some money that Walmart was providing. So, you know, there are a lot of people out there working that don't want to, those that are close that are worried about. This young guy we're talking to also, you know, large, what he considered to be a large rent that he was struggling to pay, and they just increased it another $100 for him, and that meant a lot to him. You have to be aware of all these scenarios. And when you sit down with the person, you have to give them what they want, and you have to show it very simply. Most of you know too much. We need to dummy down this opportunity. Seriously, we need to dummy it down, whether you're talking products or opportunity. He knows probably almost nothing about the products itself. He's seen a few things, but what we've done is show him how to make money. So as a guy, he can show another guy how to make money. It's not about selling product. So when I talk about somebody that's going to want to make money, you know, first off, you know, I show him all the packages. We know he has no money, 309. We're going to start with that package. What do you need to do to get your money back? What do you need? This is what people are thinking. If I invest $300, what do I need to do to get that back? Because I'm going to put it on a credit card and I got to pay it off in 30 days. So we tell him 3 people. I'm like, all right, so tell me who your 3 people are. Who we got? Because I don't want him to start if he don't have people to talk to. I mean, that would be really bad. So who are we going to talk to? Who are we going to connect with? You know, and then Bobby threw in a lot of ideas through the military and some other stuff on who we can talk to. So now he feels good about who we can talk to.
He
and
feels
then
like
once
he's got a pretty big list now, you know, that he can make.
Yeah. So this is what I'm saying. You don't need to go into, get rid of the 40% and the residual income. Get rid of it. People aren't thinking that far ahead. They don't care what you made. Nobody cares what Bobby and I made. They care what's in it for them. And we need to really bring this back and say, if you do this, you make that. You know, the statistics are out there, and it's probably not our group, not our demographics. But you know, if people can make an extra $500 to $1,000 a month, it's huge for them out there. It is just unbelievable what's going on out there. So if you're talking to that person, and I even told him what I like about him is when he makes that commitment, it reminds me of when Bobby and I got started in the business. You know, we needed to make money. We needed to replace Bobby's income right away. So there were no hours of the day that we weren't working. It didn't matter. If you said, can you call me at 12 o'clock at night? I'm like, I'm calling you at 12 o'clock at night. I'll set my alarm and get up at 2 in the morning if that's when you want to talk. And I know he would have that same, well, if you don't have that same hunger, it's hard for you to realize that, but you got to get somebody you can make a story out of. So if we get him in and he spends the $300 and he puts it on a credit card and he earns that back that first month, well, isn't that a story? Isn't that a duplicatable story that you can share with anyone? So, you know, we all know people that we can make examples with that we can help, but don't help and pay for it. You know, absolutely don't do that. Make them stretch so that they realize it, so that their back is against the wall, because those are where you get your real runners. People that need to make money will do the uncomfortable. Once we're comfortable, we kind of sit back and we're like, you know, whatever, you know, if they call me at the right time or if they don't call me back. And, you know, a lot of times we get into our heads where our heads don't stay positive. We think of all the reasons why they're not going to do it, instead of being so hungry for the opportunity that we're just going to do it. We're just going to go ahead. And, you know, we're so busy and so hungry and so directed, we don't worry about the what ifs. You know, keeping a positive head looking for what you want is how you're going to get what you want. You can call it, they have all these words, manifestation and all these different things that people do these days. And if that's your thing, that's fine too. We all do it in different ways, but if it's your focus, it'll happen. It'll be there. You don't need skill in this. It's just that direction, that confidence, and knowing where you're going, and people will see that. But if you're not out talking to people, that kind of falls again by the wayside. You know, somebody did a good training. I don't know who it was, but they were talking about, the first call you make of the day is maybe not the best call.
It was Kenneth.
Kenneth, okay, but by the second, the third, the fourth, and so like if your calendar isn't written all over the place with people that you need to be at certain times talking to, don't expect to make a lot of money. I mean, it's just the way it is. If you're not busy, truly working, talking to people, don't expect to make a lot of money. If you're doing busy work, I don't even know what busy work is anymore, but if your day, because you can work a few hours, you can work, like I'm a classic example. I play tennis in the morning, just about every day that I can, 3 times a week at least, maybe sometimes 4. But, I love to, but I come in at 12 or 1 when I get here and I'm like, I'm not leaving. I'm sitting right here in this room and my calendar is full and I know who I'm calling and who I'm reaching out to. And I'm not doing anything like looking at the news or I don't know, whatever else you could be doing, playing on TikTok or whatever. So, there's always a purpose for what I'm doing. So you can get a lot more out of your day in a small time if you just dial it down and do the work that you need to do. So.
I got to share with you, I was talking to Kenneth and he's over in Denmark now. He'll be back later this week, but it just hit home when he talked about having multiple phone conversations with prospects, one after another, okay? And how every call gets better than the one before. And by the time you get to the 4th or 5th call, your blade is so sharp that you're going to get that next person, and I don't want to always bring it up, okay? But sometimes you just got to give people credit. He enrolled 5 distributors last week. He enrolled 5 in 5 days, okay? And that's not counting the 13 customers that he enrolled, okay? So you get better when you're speaking, okay? And even if you don't get that person, whatever got you hung up is fresh on your mind. And when you make that next call, you're not going to make that mistake again. You know what I mean? And then if you don't get the second one, whatever got you stuck is on your mind and you make that 3rd call and that one ain't going to get you. And by the time you get 3 or 4 calls in, okay, but this goes back to what April's saying. If you don't have prospects that you're talking to and carrying over in conversations, there is no magic. The magic is in the follow-up of conversations with real people. That's where the magic is. But everybody's got to commit to filling their funnel up again, assuming you're starting from scratch. Like, let's just say you're starting from ground zero, fill that funnel up. Don't let it ever get empty again. And even if you have a good week, a good day where you get 3, 4, 5, 6 people to enroll, that means your funnel got drained and you got to fill it again. That means you squeezed out the best part. It came out the bottom. You got it. Okay. But now you got to fill it up again because you squeezed out what you could. Okay. And that is another big hang up in this particular business. You get on a roll, you get 3 or 4 or 5 people to join, and then you think, and I'm not saying this in any way mean-spirited or not, but we all get this feeling that we've arrived. And we stop doing the things that got us to how we arrived, okay? We stopped doing it. We were at a celebration of life. One of our distributors, a dear friend of ours, lost her husband a couple months ago. And this had been on the calendar and the hurricanes kept pushing it back. Okay. And this past Saturday, we had a celebration of life for his name was Mike. And it's amazing. Now, this was celebration of life and it was meant to celebrate Mike's life because he was one of the kindest gentlemen God ever put on the planet. Okay. And we were there for that. But there were so many people in this family using collagen. And so many of them had gotten rid of so many lines and turkey necks and bags and things on their faces and arms that it was impossible for conversation not to be coming up about business because the host family, their dad and their husband was the one that passed away. You know, they all looked like they lost a decade, you know, and their friends and relatives were there commenting about how great they looked, and they hadn't seen them in a while, or they hadn't seen them since the funeral, and the funeral was in July. You know, we got collagen in June. The funeral was the first week in July. A lot of them hadn't seen the family since then, and it's November. Well, what do you think happens in 4 months of using product? We all know, okay, what happens. So if you're out there, and the only reason I'm bringing it up, we got to get back out around people, okay? People that we could see, feel, and touch. Our granddaughter helps. You know, we brought her hoping there'd be little girls there. And I don't know if you've ever put 4 or 5 little girls together that are strangers. Takes 30 seconds for them to be buddies. And then they just take over, and you know, all of a sudden you meeting their parents and their grandparents, and little kids are great for you meeting the adults. Okay. It's like, it's amazing how it works. But one thing April and I are going to be focused on moving forward is we're going to do what we used to do all the time before COVID. And that's make sure we're going out a couple times a week, whether it's happy hour, whether it's dinner. And, you know, and not to sit alone, but to sit around people that we may have the opportunity to comment to, or say something to, or talk to. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it don't. If it don't, it's a date night and it was great anyway. And if it does, who knows? Maybe it's the next star joining the business. But you just gotta, you know, you can have all the fun in the world in this business with your husband, with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your fiance, whoever it is. You can have all the fun in the world and be doing the greatest things that you want to do with that person, and have your antennae focused on looking for prospects for business. You can do those two things at the same time. It's not one or the other. Well, it's date night, I'm not going to talk to anybody else. That's crazy. All right. Or I'm going to go out prospecting and we're not going to have fun. And if I don't get anyone, the night's going to suck. No, it ain't like that. We're going to have fun. You know what draws people to you? Them seeing you having fun. That is what that's how you get into conversations. You know how many times we've been parked at the beach in the Jeep, and I'm a 70s junkie, and April likes it too. She'd prefer country, but she lets me have my day when we're at the beach, and I'm listening to 70s. Do you know how many conversations get started from people saying, boy, I love the 70s. Boy, I mean, it's, you know, it was the decade of music, okay, for a lot of us. And, you know, it's amazing. You know, I found out this morning, Foreigner's doing another tour. I thought they were done, but they're doing another one. April and I are going to see Styx, you know, when we get back from the Elite Retreat in January. These bands have been out there for 40, 50 years, and they're still out there. But what I'm saying is this, it draws conversation. You know, people break the ice with you. They'll hear, you know, whatever it is. They'll hear one of their favorite songs from high school or college or something, and they comment to you. And all I do is say, yeah, I'm a 70s junkie. I just, you know, it was Saturday Night Fever when we were in high school, and the Rocky movies were out and Jaws were out and all that. And then they start reminiscing. They'll stop and they'll talk to you. You know, they'll tell you their stories about that time. So Zoom is a master at going out and meeting people. Okay. She does it all the time, everywhere. She does the networking events, but she also does all the other stuff too. Okay. So let's focus on getting back out around people, and let's focus on being the fun so that other people are drawn to us. Okay. That's what they're drawn to. People want to have a good time. And if they see you laughing and having a good time and having fun, they're going to want to know what you do. Okay. Or why you're here all the time. And, you know, I'm telling you, there's some great things happening with LifeVantage this coming year. And you're going to want to do everything you can to have your business in full-blown momentum before we get to New Orleans. Just full-blown momentum. where it's going crazy, like yours, Grija, okay, Catalina. You know, if you stay with what you've done your first 90 days, and you do it for another 90 days, 120 days, okay? And I know you've been with other companies, and I know you've sold other products, but this one we're gonna build so you get paid for a lifetime. Okay, we're talking about lifetime money here, and we're talking about wealth, and we're talking about leaving it to children and grandchildren, okay? Not just selling the latest, greatest product that is out, okay? We're talking about generational wealth building that can, after we're done spending it, we can leave it to our children and grandchildren. Is everyone good with that? Isn't that something cool to leave to somebody? You know, and you get to spend every nickel of it until you go, and then they can start having the check after you. How could that not be good? You know, so we're more excited than we have ever been, and we want you more than anybody in the world to enjoy that journey and take it with us. Okay, that's what we want to happen. So you want to open it up, April?
Sure, yeah. Any questions? Anything we can
Unmute
help with?
yourself and share whatever it is that you want to share, or whatever questions you might have.
Bob, can you tell them that how to register for the LV Academy? Because many of them do not know how to go to the back office, and or they can call the company. Somehow they should do it.
Well, it's real. If you don't know how to do it, okay, you can call the 800 number at the company and they'll do it for you. But if you just log into your back office, and you know, if you don't know what that is, ask your upline or call me or April. But you log in your back office, the top left corner, it says events. Okay, and you click on event and you just look for November LVA, and you click on it, and there's a $25 charge for the training. Okay, and the training's worth 25 million. So if you have trouble paying $25, that's something that's worth 25 million, then skip it. I mean, I don't know what else to say, you know, but it's, you know, Carrie Dickey happens to not only be a business associate of ours, but she's a personal friend of April and I. And just so you know who you're going to get 2 hours from on Saturday, she's the top earner in the world in this company. Her organization is right at about 5 million a month in sales. She did it as a single woman for the most part for the last 8 years. She's married the first few years she was here. And all the big names are on her team. The Poes are on her team. The Williams are on her team. Tara Wilson is her team. Rachel Pekarik is her team. All the big names that you hear about and you see walking across the stage are Carrie Dickey's team. And Carrie will be teaching for 2 hours on Saturday. So
Okay,
I
so
don't know
put
what more you could want, you know.
yeah, I put the company number in there. If you don't know the
Click
number,
on the chat, the
call.
company number April just
It's
posted.
in, I put it in the chat, or you can go to your LifeVantage app.
That's
and
right,
click
it's on
it.
the app too.
It's on the app, you know, and click events. Right on the main page, it says events. So you click on that, it's the top thing, and you can go ahead and register that way. So either or, whatever your comfort is. You don't even have to go in your back office. You don't even have to know where your back office is. This is what I'm saying. Keep it simple. All right. So,
You know, when we were meeting with this gentleman on Sunday, he remembered a slide that I clicked on when we were doing the launch, where it said, there's 9 different ways we earn money. And he said this, he says, do I need to know that? And I said, nope, it's irrelevant. I said, what you need to know is it's going to cost you $300 to get started. And when we get 3 people started the same way you did, you got your money back, you own your business free and clear, and everything's profit after that. He says, cool. That's all he needed to know. The rest he will learn as it becomes relevant. Okay. But when it's not relevant, all you do is scramble somebody's eggs. Same thing with the back office, trying to make somebody go to the back office when they don't know how to talk to their first person. It's like crazy stuff, you know? So we got to roll this back to simple. We just got to make it simple, and they will learn. You ask Catalina, okay? She talks to April every day, and I probably text her 2 or 3 times a week, okay? We have a very close eye on her business, and as things become relevant, we let her know. Do I not let you know, Catalina, when something's getting close to being relevant? So you have people that are watching, okay, and keeping an eye on what you're doing. She's a full-time physician. I don't need to scramble her brain with irrelevant stuff right now, but I have an obligation to make sure that she don't miss out on any money. But she don't need to know all the ins and outs. Why? It's not relevant yet. As she gets closer to it, then I do, hey, by the way, you have a good shot at being Pro 5 this month. We're going to see where your numbers are after the 15th, you know, when the next subscription batch go out. And I just let her know. Okay, so it's not a surprise on the 30th of the month, you know, with 1 day to go. Okay, but, and we do that with all of you. Ask Joanne if she didn't get notified by April last month that she was closing in on Pro 5. And we had to watch the last couple days because it was close, because she had 2 other legs in the business catch fire. Okay, so I don't know if you'll say anything, Joanne, but did we not make sure that April in particular, make sure that you knew what was going on?
Absolutely.
So you don't have to worry about it. What you got to worry about is, are you making money now? And are you getting your people to make money? You got to get people earning money in their first 30 days. That's the deal, okay? If somebody gets their first check in their first 30 days, you have about a 2,500% better chance of keeping them long-term than if they don't. So that's why when we were talking to this young man yesterday, all we talked about, when's your cycle start? You know, your credit card cycle, okay? That's when you're enrolling. And then the 30-day race begins, because we're going to make sure you have the money to pay the bill before it comes in. He got so excited over that. Why? Because we cared about his credit card. And we weren't trying to get him to sign yesterday, okay? We were trying to make sure he was in the best situation for success. We made sure he didn't throw up on his brother at the barbecue he was going to next, okay? And if we start doing that, folks, I'm telling you, your business will explode. It'll explode. Ira, I got to tell you something. You could be a star in this business, okay? I don't know if you know it or not yet, but I'm telling you, you could be, okay, if you want to be. And I don't know how I'm sitting still with Katerina, because she's got me excited, and I will be patient for 2 months, okay? But she's got that very high likability factor, and when you meet somebody that has that, you know, it's the antennae. It's just hard to explain likability factor, but you know it when you meet it, you know, and she's got that. So we're excited for your business, and you're a big part of Jaya's business, and on and on and on. You know, that's why we're so excited with everything that's going on right now. Anyone else? Any questions? Anything? Anything about anything? You can, you know, we got a few minutes.
How about a thank you? Good training.
You know, I appreciate that, Marge. Here's the one thing that April, I will always do with training with you. We'll be real about what's happening now. We will never be historians and talk about what we did 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, or even pre-COVID. Okay.
Oh, I know
We're
that.
always going
You
to
guys are
share
awesome.
with what's happening right now. And that way you're as up to speed as you could be with what's working. So
Thank you.
and that's why
all I
we're
gotta
giving
say.
you a
Thanks.
heads up for New Orleans, okay? That it's not only can you not miss it, but you can't afford to miss out the next 4 months leading into it. We need you to be lighting your businesses on fire, okay? The rewards that will come from that when we get to March will be amazing. So that's about all I can say about that, but you'll come up to me after March and say, you warned us, or you told us, or, you know, I remember back in November, you said, okay, I'm saying what I can say. And, You know, some of your businesses are on fire and some of them we need to get on fire. And either way, that's good. Okay, so.
Bobby, one of the things that happened in Chicago with me is like every time I go to Chicago, I make a point. I don't know if you know, if people know, I used to be a teacher for 30 plus years. So I made a point on seeing my students, and this big guy, I call him Bebe, baby, because he's a fifth grader, but he's 6 foot, he's a big
He's a
guy.
monster now.
Yes, and he was a monster for a fifth grader. So every time I went there, he would say, I can't make it. I can't make it. This time he said, I had surgery. So I found a way to get there. And when I got there, you never know what people are going through. He's a 42-year-old who had surgery for C5 and C4. He was almost paralyzed. He had problems with his ankles. He's overweight. He's going through separation. He's going through so much. And I'm talking about Protandim was easy. It was everything he was looking for. And he called his sister. She works at the health department. She shows up. Mom shows up. You look the same. Oh my God, you look the same, Mrs. Rivas. I used to be Rivas at that time. Esmeralda is at the lunch. I said, oh my God, the same day. I forgot to tell you. I looked around. She registered as a distributor.
And
I
you
just
didn't
saw
even
her
know
in
it.
Chicago. She's at the lunch and she registered.
Yeah,
it.
look, when you and what Zuma just said is reiterating what we've been saying. When you make the business about them and not about you, you win. When it becomes about you, you lose. Okay, when you make it about them, you win, and you'll keep winning over and over and over again. And because they're going to go out and make it about the other person. And they're going to brag on how you made it about them. Okay. And all of a sudden you're duplicating that trend. And that's when your business catches fire, because everybody wants to be a part of that. Everybody wants to know that somebody cares about them. Everybody wants to know. It's just the nature of the beast with this business. So now you did great in Chicago, Zuma.
Yes,
And,
you did.
you know,
Everybody did. It
we've
was
been
a great
talking
team.
with the company, and we're looking for other cities to do it in besides, doing something else in Chicago. April had a weekend available in December, but I guess it didn't work for you guys. But we're looking for other places to do it where a room can get filled up with new customers and new prospects, and not just get filled up with people that have been around for years and years and years and don't do anything. Okay. The reason why it did so good is because it was everybody's first meeting. So Zuma, keep doing what you're doing in Charlotte. Maybe we'll do something there. I was telling Donna Gordon is signing up a lot of customers now. She's got a big inventory of collagen. She's enrolling a couple people a week. We're watching the DC area for future possibilities, but she's on a roll up in DC. And Dr. Wolf is bringing it in this week too. So we're going to have a lot of doctors keeping it in inventory and doing subscriptions. So we're excited about it. And, but we're looking for other places to go for the first time besides repeating.
One of the things with Chicago is that I worked in the suburbs. I'm on the northwest suburbs. So by the time I told my teachers, they already had a commitment. They have birthdays, surgeries, and things like that. Esmeralda works for the health department. She's a computer major. And I see myself, I don't know if April can go there, but I have to go to the west side.
Well, here's the deal, Zuma. That's going to be the case for every meeting. When you talk DC, Chicago, New York, there's always going to be one part that can make it and one part can't. So we just got to do the meeting, and whoever shows up, shows up. Okay, that's.
Oh, so I was thinking about me going to where my cluster is.
Okay.
I know that you have to do it where you have to do it, but knowing my people, driving 1 hour, 1.5 hours, when I can meet with them, they were so happy
Well,
to
no,
see
and
me.
and that's perfectly fine. But here's something, and a lot of you haven't experienced this yet because you're new. one of the ways you find out if you got somebody good is you make them do something that's a little bit uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
If they have to drive an hour and a half and they do it, you really got something. Okay. I'll tell you, you know, Jaya may remember and Lynn may remember. Okay. But April and I, we made people do stuff in the old business before we went anywhere. Okay. They needed to do something because once we had our business doing 5-6 million a month in sales, we wanted to work with people that wanted to work with us, and we didn't want to waste any time. So the only way we could figure out if they were real or not is to make them do something.
Okay.
Just tell them to do it and see if they did it or not. And that rule will still work in this business. If you're not sure if somebody's serious about what you got, okay, make them do something and see if they do it or not. If they do, you got something. If they don't, keep them in the prospecting funnel, you know, because maybe it'll be another time. But we used to do that all the time. And I'm telling you, we found some of the best people in the world because we found out, wow, they drove 2 hours. You know what we had to do to go to our first meeting in our first company?
Yeah.
It was in Atlanta. We lived in New York. We had to drive 16 hours because we couldn't afford plane tickets. But going to that meeting changed our lives forever. Forever. Our vision was expanded. We were never the same again. We went home and lit the woods on fire. And that first year in that company, we made $110,000. And magically, somehow, I had to replace 90,000. Okay. And we replaced my salary in that year, not knowing anything about anything other than we never missed a meeting. It didn't matter where it was. It just didn't matter. So anyway, we are really excited for all of you. Dr. Goodman, you and some of the people you're bringing in, and Katarina, we're real excited about what you guys are doing. Jaya and Dr. Grija, wait till you meet some of the people Kenneth's bringing in. I mean, you know, there's a lot of areas that are on fire right now. And, you know, we're really pumped about it. So don't let Thanksgiving slow you down, folks. You know, we do have a fat burn product for the people that have to unbuckle their pants after they eat. You know, we, you know, you got to think about Thanksgiving, you know, and I know, hey, that's a week from Thursday.
That's
You
a big
know, I
thing.
mean, it's coming up quick, but you know, there's a 4-day stretch there. Somebody asked if we were going to have a Black Friday sale. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. I
don't
would
think so.
guess we would, but I don't know. I don't really care. But I'm going to try and find out if we are or not, because I ain't heard nothing about it. But that's a 4-day weekend when people are going to be shopping, eating, and visiting relatives. What a great time to share what you got. What a great time. Okay, so please keep that in mind as we go into that week. April?
Let's do a little homework. We got a whole week before Thanksgiving. This next week, as you go through the week, I want you to talk to 3 people, a waitress or anybody that comes across. I don't care if it's an Uber driver, whoever you come across, wherever you trip over some person, grocery store, checkout, whatever, just say, hey, I really like your smile. I think you'd be great at something I'm into. Do you mind if I share a video? And get their phone number. Just see what happens when you share a video with them. And then when they see the video, ask what they think was most interesting. And you don't know if it's going to go product or opportunity at that point. But we have, and I've seen a lot of other company videos, we have the perfect video because it is cutting edge, you know, category creating product for a whole new industry nobody has, or we've got a product that can help people that they've never heard of. We're not just doing weight loss. We're not just doing some skincare. We got a really unique opportunity and product. So show the video to somebody and let them tell you what they saw in the video. Everybody sees something different, but you can go product or opportunity, and no other company. I'm telling you, I look at a lot of videos. I'm always looking to see what other companies are doing, and they don't have anything as special as this. But you got to take it from what did you see as interesting? Did they see product or did they see opportunity? And I'm telling you, you can have a gold mine if you just shut up and just say, what's your phone number? I got a great video for you. What's your phone number? And just end it, zip it. I mean, no matter what you're doing.
Hey, we're going to put a list together and it's not going to be a long list of 5, 6, 7 things that you need to do with a brand new person when they sign up. And it's not going to be complicated, or it's going to be real simple, but I'm going to tell you this up front. If they're not on Facebook, okay, if they're not on, don't have a canary over it,
Yeah.
okay? Try and encourage them because it's free to join, not so they can post their dinner or dog pictures or anything like that, but so they can be on Instant Messenger and be part of the collagen group, okay, on Instant Messenger. That's why you would want them on Facebook. But if not, don't have a canary, okay? You, by this time, if you don't have at least 100 of those pictures from Collagen Pics on your phone
crazy.
in an album, then that's on you. Because see,
Yeah.
everybody's got a phone that has pictures on it, and everybody's phone creates albums from their picture. So I just updated mine now. I have 120 pictures before and after collagen pictures, testimonial, before and afters, in an album on my phone. So I can show it to anybody, whether I have internet or not, whether they're on Facebook or not, whether they're on Instagram or not. If you don't have at least 100 of those pictures, go into the Collagen Pics, download all those pictures into your phone, and then take those pictures and make an album for collagen.
Album. Right.
And then you're done. Okay. And then
Okay.
once every couple weeks, update it with whatever new stuff was posted. And then you are never without a way. And that person that ain't on social media, you just send them the pictures and they'll create their own album. So you don't need to be on social media to do. We all know it's an advantage, but let's take that one away. Okay. If the photos are on your phone, you can put them on their phone and they can make an album and they could show their friends and relatives. Okay. So let's take that one off the table, but we're going to make a list. We'll try and have it within a couple of weeks for you of just 5, 6, 7 things that you do with a new person that are really easy. And we know the list could have 50 things on it. We don't care. What we care about is they get off to a fast start, make some money fast, and get their money back fast. That's what we care about, because that buys us years with the person. As soon as they get a check, they know the system works. The circle has been completed. They joined, they talked to someone, they got a check from the company. They know it works. And then you get more time with them. Okay. So, but we'll get that together. We have some old ones, but they're not appropriate. So, obviously times changed after COVID and stuff. So we'll get it updated. April, anyone else?
Nope, we're good.
All right,
Thank-
let's keep the ball rolling, folks. Check your numbers.
Thanks,
tomorrow.
guys.
Tomorrow's a subscription day. Just so you know, April and I, our team, you and all of our team, we have the highest volume on the 13th of the month that we've ever had yesterday.
Wow.
Okay,
Awesome.
including
Awesome,
the month where
awesome.
we hit Pro 8, which was October of 19, 3 years ago. Okay, so COVID is behind us, folks. Okay, and it's time to ride the train. Okay, it's just time to do that. So anyway, have a great night. You know how to reach us.
You'll post this training?
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been recording, so we'll get it posted. And I'll text it out too. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Thank you.